you go back home, you want to play like that next morning. It's like, because you don't want to, that idle time of sitting is like the worst. You just count down the hours to the next game. So, and then we have an extra day in this one. So it's like, let's just play. Like today, like it's like we got another day, we got to wait. So, but the move's been great. Everybody here has been, pretty focused. We had a great practice today, great talk, going through film, even on court. Everybody's super excited.
For you guys, obviously Durant has been in a really good rhythm and a really good groove. Just how do you feel like you can do a better job kind of taking him out of that here as you guys go to game 3?
He's going to score. I mean, maybe the greatest scorer ever, one of the best. He's going to score the ball. Nobody's going to stop that. We just got to keep fighting, keep trying to get through screens, keep trying to, get into him, make him take tough twos, keep him off three-point line, stick to our principles, keep doing the things we're doing, but better. We got to be better.
I know you guys threw a little like show and recover at him on some of like the small pick and rolls. You guys switched a little bit. Do you feel like continuing to mix that up is something, or is it just like finding that thing that works and really executing that?
I mean, it's finding what works and executing, but it's going to be different every time. That no two situations are ever the same. It's always, maybe he screened you great that time, and this time he didn't, so you got through and they still made the shot, or they missed it. Like, it's going to be different every single time. Trying to contain KD and Kyrie is tough, but at the same time, we can't give everybody else what they're getting. You can't let all the guys off the bench come in and make shots and get layups and second chance points. Like that, it starts to mount up, and that's when the league goes up when we struggle on offense. But we just got to contain everybody else.
Obviously, you're a little bit of a stranger player. Like you were a 6'6" center, right? Like that was the thing that you did. Bruce Brown has kind of come in for them and done some similar things on like the short roll and being like a center that's actually just a 6'4" guard. What have you seen from him that kind of makes their offense different?
I mean, he can kind of do that when you got. I don't think he's center when Blake's in, but put him in the pocket,
Right,
let him
just
be
like that.
but letting him be the playmaker because he's not going to sit out there and shoot three. So when you try to put guys on him that the bigs and the guys that don't want to switch on him, then he can get in the pocket, and that's where he can be dangerous, making those little floaters, and more than anything is being able to pass to the weak side. Making people pull in to be able to get Joe and Kyrie and everybody else on the weak side shots. So that's something that I think is a big point of emphasis, is trying to do better with that, and so everybody else can stay on.
Rob Johnson with Bally Sports Wisconsin.
Hey, PJ. Coach Bud said in game 2, after you got those quick early fouls, that you're really good when you were able to stay in the game. I guess I'm just curious, how do you plan to play your PJ Tucker brand of basketball and not get in problematic foul trouble?
That's like, I don't think you understand the magnitude of that question. Like, that's like going out to guard the greatest player ever, maybe, and don't foul him. Don't get in foul trouble. Like, that's like, it's going to happen. I got to be physical to be able to get into him. He's going to score the ball. He's going to get 30, 40, whatever. I just got to try to make it as tough as possible. He's going to score the ball. You're not going to shut him down. Nobody's going to do that. But I can try to make him take more shots to be able to get it. I can try to, wear him down, hopefully in the fourth, not be as good. And that's all you can do. I can work my butt off like I've been doing. The refs are going to be the refs, but we just got to play. I can play perfect defense, and he'll still score. Good offense beats good defense any day of the week. It just is what it is. But it's over a course of 48 minutes, being able to wear people down to win the game. That's what it's about.
Jim Ozarski.
Hey, PJ. Before the series, you kind of cautioned, I guess, against that sort of the thought that Brooklyn, didn't have a good regular season defense and may not have good postseason defense. You're like, no, that changes in the playoffs. Through these 2 games, what have they done maybe to create some of the issues offensively that you've seen? Where Drew and Chris and Giannis say, well, we're isoing more, we're not really playing with the pass more. What has Brooklyn done, I guess, to really kind of create that?
Switching. They're just doing what we did in Houston. They're just switching. You switch. Everybody switches. Everybody guards everybody. Somebody goes in a post that we don't want. You X out from the weak side, get people off people. But you switch, you stay tough, you stand to people, make them get downhill, mid-range, and guys come over and get ready and get in rotations early. And it clogs the paint, and it makes you play one-on-one a lot more. And that's what the switching does. You take people out of the offense.
And then is that a combination then of it's not like you guys haven't played against switching defenses.
Right.
So that in and of itself, I imagine, is not just the thing. Is it the combination then of they've been able to run out to some leads, which then maybe
I mean, we didn't make shots. We haven't made shots. We haven't shot the ball particularly well. But again, I say that, they're fully switching. When you're switching off ball, that takes away curls. That takes away, like Brand coming off of his dribble handoffs. They just switching everything in, switching up to make us get downhill. Like it's the playoffs. It's more intense. It's not just switching now. Everybody's in. Everybody's talking. They got their mojo going. They're boxing out. They're like everybody's doing the job. Where in the regular season, you might have a couple guys not box out, and guys not, the better players not do a lot of little things. Everybody's doing every little thing, and that builds up.
Thank you.
Darius Joshua.
Yeah, PJ, you talk about some of those little things. I felt like in game 2 was, it seemed like anyway to me, kind of, Brooklyn went on a little bit of a run, and then it just seemed like those little things were kind of benefiting the Nets as well. Like Bruce Brown will get another rebound or something like that. Is that kind of what you guys saw in the film, where it's just like we're down a lot and they kind of outworked you guys in some areas?
Those are the backbreakers. Those are the ones you fighting KD, fighting Kyrie, you make them take tough shots, they miss them, and then they come over the board. It's like those, true backbreakers, especially in those games where you're fighting, clawing to try to come back. You cut the lead a little bit, and those are things that we got to get back to doing. Those are things that, taking people off the glass. Once we make them, miss. Once the 50-50 balls, like that stuff has got to be more in our favor than the first 2 games have been. And that's something we got to get back to.
So would you say kind of these first 2 games, when you guys looking at the film now and you get ready for game 3, is there just a lot of guys saying we look like we're out of character, out of doing the things that we haven't been doing during the regular season and that we did in that first round series either?
I don't think it's out of character. I think their intensity, they've had great intensity the first 2 games. I think they've been, kind of all over the place, all over the floor, offense and defense. I feel like they just had a little more of an edge than we have. They've made a lot of shots. I mean, you got to give them credit. Sometimes it's just like that. It just happens. But for us, like I said, we got to be able to have an effect in those parts of the game as well, not just the making shots and the things that go on the stat sheet. We gotta do better at the stuff that's not on the stat sheet.
Lisa Salters.
Hey PJ, I'm just curious, like what's the mood been like since Monday? Just has this been like the longest time wanting to just get right back out there right away to get that nasty taste out of your mouth?
Yeah.
What's it been like?
Yeah, Lisa, that, like, especially you start on the road and they get the first 2, which they take care of business. You go back home, you want to play like that next morning. It's like, because you don't want to, that idle time of sitting is like the worst. You just count down the hours to the next game. So, and then we have an extra day in this one. So it's like even more. So, like, let's just play. Like today, like it's like we got another day. We got to wait. So, but the mood's been great. Everybody here has been, pretty focused. We had a great practice today, great talk, going through film, even on court. Everybody's been great, so everybody's super excited.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, PJ.
Right,
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, from your perspective, what is it that the Nets are doing differently defensively than they did when y'all faced them in the regular season? Is it what the Nets are doing, or is it what y'all are doing offensively that's kind of been the issue through these first 2 games?
I'd say it's probably a mixture of both. I think you got to make adjustments throughout a playoff series. I think we, made adjustments in the Miami series from game 1 to game 2. I think our adjustments in, this series from game 1 to game 2 was a little more defensively than offensively, and I just think, they had a game. At the end of the day, you can use all the cliche sayings that you want, but it's about getting back to, doing what we do here in the Pfizer Forum in front of our fans, playing the brand of basketball that we play, which we haven't done the last few games. And, kind of trying to block out everything else. We just got to go. We got to win a game tomorrow night.
Eric Name.
Getting over on Durant is not easy. Obviously, he's a 7-footer that can hit pull-up threes, but obviously that's part of the job against them. What do you think you can do to kind of do a better job making it more difficult on him and Kyrie Irving and just kind of handling their lead ball handlers?
I think it's about being physical with them a little bit. But I also think it's, just trying to make it tough on them. They're great players. They're, all-star MVP caliber players. I think where we need to do a better job is on everybody else. I think we need to make it tough on not just them, but everybody else. We need to make sure that, they're taking tough shots and they're doing what they do, but they're going to make some tough shots, and they're going to miss some tough shots. At the end of the day, I think we need to make everyone else a little more uncomfortable.
For you, offensively, we've seen Giannis have like a quieter game and then respond with a monster game right after. For you, is there something you feel like you guys can do to free him up a little bit more offensively? Break down. I know in the past it's kind of breaking down the wall, but I'm not sure it's maybe quite the same this time around. Just what do you try to do to keep him going and keep him aggressive and kind of attacking?
I think, try to just have better spacing, give him a little more space, make sure that, I think obviously teams in the past have built the wall against them. I think, we need to give him more space so we're not helping build the wall, if you will. And just make sure we continue to encourage his mindset has to be attack, attack, attack. I mean, the difference is sometimes that's attack to score and sometimes that's attack to pass. And I think that's something that we need to make sure we're doing for him, giving him the space to attack, and then he's great at making those decisions on whether it's to score or to pass.
David with La Gazzetta.
Hey, Pat, what is the mood in the locker room after, those 2 tough losses? What do you think you guys need to do to, get back to play your brand of basketball, as you said?
Just play with a chip on our shoulder. I think it's have a little more pride, have a little more, personal and team pride on, the defensive end, the offensive end, make it tough for them. Obviously use, game 2 as fuel for the fire to come out and show, what kind of team that we're made out of, show it in front of our fan base and make sure that, we keep everything in perspective. At the end of the day, we've lost 2 games in a row this season. We've also won 9 games in a row or whatever it ended up being. And so it's all about taking it one game at a time. When you get in, I think we had a 2, 3, 4 game losing streak throughout the course of the season. And, we were trying to get out of it in one possession. We were trying to get out of it in one quarter. You got to take it one game at a time, one possession at a time, and make sure that, we're focused on tomorrow night's game. And that's it.
Zach with the New York Post.
Pat, PJ kind of felt like you guys didn't win nearly enough 50-50 balls, that maybe you didn't quite match Brooklyn's intensity in those first 2 games. That it's one thing, obviously you can't make up shots falling, shots not falling, you can't control, but felt like you guys need to maybe bring more urgency and intensity tomorrow. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think, again, it goes back to making them feel uncomfortable. The 50-50 balls are important. The rebounds on the defensive end so that they're not getting second chance points are important. Those are all hustle-type plays. But it's having more of an edge. It's having more of a chip on our shoulder. It's being more physical. It's making sure that they aren't as comfortable. And it starts, obviously, with KD and Kyrie, but it's everybody. I mean, Joe Harris had a plethora of open threes to start the second half. Bruce Brown had some layups and offensive rebounds. I mean, they had just a lot of guys that have contributed over the first 2 games, and that's more or less just toughness, physicality, and taking the challenge on individually and collectively.
Darius Joshua.
Hey, Pat, kind of mentioned it a little bit through some of your answers, but I'm wondering if you would describe it as those first 2 games, the Nets kind of got you guys a little out of character in some ways, and how do you, I guess, try to change that and more dictate how things go in game 3 versus how they went in the first 2?
Yeah, I think, they played to their strengths and we didn't play to our strengths. And I think it's first and foremost understanding that, admitting it, watching the film, seeing where we kind of fell into playing their brand of basketball as opposed to our brand of basketball. And once we're able to do that and, we've done it, we've watched the film and things of that nature, then I think we'll be able to adjust and we'll be able to get, more spacing. We'll be able to get more movement on the offensive end, and we'll be able to, defend a little bit better and make sure that, look, they're going to hit some tough shots. But it's the easy shots that are killers. It's the shots that, come after offensive rebounds. It's the things that, we've kind of built this culture on over the last 3 years that we hadn't really held true to in the first 2 games.
All right, thanks, Pat.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, Davide here from Italy. Pat just said you guys are now playing your brand of basketball. What do you think you need to do to get back to be the Bucks as we know it?
Yeah, I think we got to move the ball a little bit better, move people a little bit better, better spacing, play together, be in attack mode, attack mindset. I think we can be better in Game 3.
Eric, name?
Getting that aggressiveness specifically out of Giannis, does it feel like something tactical, like like getting him more side pick and rolls or different actions or dribble handoffs, or is it more just him kind of feeling that and kind of taking over?
It's a little bit of both. We got to get him to good spots. Get him moving. But him being aggressive and being in an attack mindset is always good. So, we need a little bit of both.
Bruce Brown has kind of affected this series as like a short roll guy, just kind of getting in that pocket and making good passes and kind of affecting the game. Just kind of what kind of difficulty does that present for Brook when he does have a guy that's 6'4", obviously he has length, but he's just a little bit smaller and quicker?
Yeah, he's unique, and him playing, as a screen and roll guy, a little bit different. But, Brook's done it, really his whole life and done it a lot for these 3 years. And, the reads and the decisions that whether it be the ball handler or Brown in the half roll make are similar. So, I think a lot of confidence that Brook can defend and be good in that environment. So I think Brook will be good.
We've talked about just how good Durant is with a bunch of the players. Is switching against him an option with his as tall as he is and with the way that he can kind of hit shots off the dribble? Like, is it just like a no-go to put someone that's like 6'1" on him? Like, is that something that can't be done, or is it something that maybe you guys experiment with? Like, I don't know. Like, he's just such a tough matchup wise.
Yeah, I think we've done some switching, and I think it always comes down to who are the people in it, and you could be 7'6" and switch, and it might not be a good idea. Or you could be 5'6" and switch, and it could be a great idea. So I think it's just you got to make hard decisions. He's a good player. They're playing and executing at a high level, and so we've done some of both, and we'll continue to do some of both.
Jim Ozarski?
Well, speaking of switching, Mike, after the game, Chris and Drew, Giannis, and now PJ, they've all said how Brooklyn's switching, their on and off ball stuff, some of those little things and their attention to detail has sort of created some of these ISO situations for you guys. So is it just the fact that that your players recognize it and kind of know what's happening, and that's where the solution comes? Or is there a schematic thing? Are there sets to run? You know what I mean? Or is it more just what they're seeing in that moment and sort of playing off that has to improve?
You're talking about our offense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think we got to be better, attacking the switch, seeing the switch, maybe making it harder to switch. All the things that can be problematic for any team that switches. So certainly in an area where we feel like we can improve and be better going into Game 3.
Thanks.
Zach with the New York Post.
Mike, when you look at the first 2 games, a few of your guys have talked about how maybe the intensity or the attention to detail wasn't quite there. That a lot of the other guys on the Nets were getting open shots, and that's really one thing that you guys have. It's been a big part of your success is how hard you guys play and how tough you are to play. Do you see that, and how important is that tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Game 1, I think we all said, that there was probably not the activity that we needed, just the everything that it takes to be good in a playoff game. And game two, I did not feel, see, watch, review the same stuff. The result was the same, but I think the way we played, the way we competed, there's a lot of credit that goes to Brooklyn for playing well, and we got to play better. But I think the solution, you have to be careful to say, you just got to play harder and you got to, be more energetic and stuff like that. I think game one, we looked at ourselves and we needed to do some of those things. And game two, they played well, and give them credit. And, our guys are competing, they're getting after it. We just got to execute on both ends, with the effort, with the competitiveness, that it takes to win a playoff game.
Steve McGargy.
You talked about being better in game three, and now you're confident y'all would play better tomorrow. Just what have you seen from the players since the end of game two? How have they kind of responded to the situation that maybe gives you confidence that y'all play better tomorrow night?
I mean, I think they have a great track record or history of, playing well and responding. We've talked about your characters tested, and, this whole group, Chris, Giannis, Drew, Tuck, Brooke, everybody, they've got a long track record of responding and playing good basketball and being a really good basketball team. And so that's what we got to be going into game three.
All right, one more to Lori Nickel.
Is Giannis forcing those 3-pointers at all? On the television broadcast of game two, it was kind of questioned that maybe nobody wants to tell the star player that he shouldn't take it. But I was under the impression that he's just trying to make the defense play him honest, or he's trying to spark anything. But I guess I shouldn't assume that. What do you think?
No, I mean, Giannis, there's opportunity, there's availability for him to shoot threes, and it's something that he's going to do. And, obviously when he scores and makes threes, it makes him harder to guard. To say he's never going to shoot a three, I think is probably not wise. And to say he's going to shoot 20 of them is probably not wise. So, he's got to find his spots. He's got to understand to attack, and we got to play with each other. And, but part of us being good is, Giannis continuing to grow as a shooter. And, so it's never all of one and nothing of another. And I think, Giannis just got to keep playing, keep finding his spots.
Thanks.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Bud.